Hello everyone, this week's parasha is Parashat Naso. In this week's parasha, the Torah tells us that the Kohanim will give a blessing to Am Yisrael. And this blessing, we keep on doing it today when we have a minyan, a group of at least 10 men. And we also have a Kohen, a priest, to give the blessing. The Torah tells us how this blessing is done with the pasuk, Ko tivarchu et bnei Yisrael amor lahem. This is how you should bless Am Yisrael. And the blessing is, Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Ye'er Hashem panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. The Gemara discusses where this blessing comes from. What is this place of the blessing that it comes from? And there's an argument, and they say it comes from one of two places. Both of them agree that the place of the blessing comes from Avraham Avinu. One says from the pasuk, Ko yeh zarecha, and one says from the pasuk, Ve'ani ve'hanar nilcha ad ko. Two different psukim talking about Avraham. One about a blessing that Avraham's children will be so many, or like this, and the other one is about Avraham and Yitzchak walking towards Akedat Yitzchak, the binding of Yitzchak. So the question is, why is this the place that it comes from? And they both say because it says the same phrase of ko, like this. But just from that word, is that enough for us to learn this whole big blessing from? Because there's the same word in both places. So what is this blessing? If I want to give a blessing to a crowd, and I bless them all with something, it could be the wrong blessing for each person. So if I come up to give a blessing to people, I say, may you all be wealthy. So for one person, that can help a lot. And for another person, being wealthy can cause him to end up in a terrible situation. The fact that he has money now and doesn't know how to deal with it ends up bringing him to a place where he is no longer finding a way to fulfill himself, ends up going into depression, ends up drinking himself to death. So what kind of blessing can I give everyone that would really make them happy, that would really be good? And if you look at the blessing, the mitzvah is emor lahem, tell them. So it is being done in a group. That's when you give this blessing. But the whole blessing is in an individual blessing. Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, for you, for one person. Ye'er Hashem panav elecha v'chuneka. Again, it is speaking to one person. What kind of blessing is this? This blessing is a blessing of nachat, of joy, of getting pleasure from your children. And it says with this blessing of Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, the blessing of the Kohanim, comes from the place of Avraham, of looking at all of his children, and God saying, may your children follow in your footsteps. May your children follow in the path that you believe in. Because if you believe this is the right path, then that blessing is, may they be good and they follow in the right path. Okay? That is the blessing. And that's where we learn it from Avraham, from two places that have to do with children. One, again, is your children should be like this when God is blessing Avraham with having many, many children. And the other one is from Yitzchak walking with Avraham and following in his footsteps. May we all be zocheh to have this blessing in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.